My name is Frank. Unless you're a medical doctor, could you put your mobile phone on silent, please? Just for the comfort of everybody else that's going to be participating in the talk. It gives me great pleasure to introduce this afternoon's speaker. He's going to be talking on depression. Thank you very much. The exciting thing is, when I first met this gentleman, I had two very unhealthy children, and I got a phone call from him, and it was through his advice that our two daughters are in their 20s now and wonderfully, vibrantly healthy. So I've learned so much from him. He's a man that, again, his walking pace is faster than my running pace. I get tired just watching what he does in a day. So I suggest take notes like crazy. There's a lot to learn from him. Help me welcome Chris Cowley.
Thank you, Frank. Okay. Let me see where I'll stand. I think probably easy if I stand together. Okay, so welcome to the guests, first of all. And I'm going to talk about depression. So it's not a very exciting subject normally to talk about, because people have lots of challenges, and I think very few people know anything about depression in any case. And I'll start off by telling my story, then I'll tell you a bit about what I did and what I changed and how it's all worked out for me. Okay, so let me just get on. There's the book that I wrote about it as well, so you can go and get yourself a book or go on Amazon and buy yourself a book. And I wrote that already in 2005, and it was just keeping notes of what I was doing that also helped me as I went along. Okay, so my story goes like this. I was born in a small little town in South Africa, which is, you'd all like to live there. It's called Knysna. Half of it burned down a couple of weeks ago. Not half, 400 houses, 22 schools or something like that burned down. So everybody's shouting about the tower here. You don't know what a fire looks like. You know, imagine what it looks like if 400 houses, I think there were 125 flats in the tower. So not to normally compare and say mine is bigger than yours, but we often complain. Even though we have white bread to eat and jam and things like that, we should learn not to moan and complain about everything. Okay, I was raised in that little town till I was 5, 6 years old. I went to university, I went to school, I went to university, and I think a part of the challenge is if you are intelligent and you start questioning things, it is also one of the indicators that you could suffer from depression if you are highly intelligent and if you question things a lot. Okay, they've discovered there's a bigger part in your brain that deals with feelings if you are prone to depression, but you don't have to feel that bad. So first of all, you can be very excited that you're intelligent if you suffer from depression, so at least 1 plus for you. But they reckon in the UK, during 1 year, there can be up to 12 million people that suffer from some kind of depression. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a major depression. So one of them, and you'll see one of the things here is dysthymia, which is like you're depressed but you can cope with it. It's not debilitating as would be a major depression. Okay, so if you have major depression, it's something totally different. Lots of people say just in passing, oh, I'm depressed. No, my friend, you don't know what depression is like. If you were depressed and you really had depression, you wouldn't say that you're depressed, okay, normally, because it's not like, I just don't feel well today. That's something different. Depression is something that really knocks you and gets you down. And then the third type of it is when you're bipolar. That means you get very hyper and excited, when you're on top of the world, and 3 hours later, you're in the gutter. You can't handle life, okay. So, I'm going to first tell you a little bit about depression, and then I'm going to tell you things that you can avoid and things that you can change that could be helpful. Okay, so I've said what those 3 things are. So here are some of the symptoms. You can go, every individual experiences uniquely in any case. And I found I went to 14 specialists. No, I went to 20 specialists, and I ended up with 14 different diagnoses of what was wrong. Okay, so I don't want to knock the medical profession, but very few of them understand or know anything about depression. And the easiest way to deal with depression is to give somebody a drug. first of all, they should change the name of drugs that they give for depression, because I don't know how you understand antidepressant. Now, the way I was taught English, anti means the opposite, so it's something that doesn't make you depressed. But all the drugs they give you are actually depressants. They're not antidepressants, because they make you sleepy, they make you mopey, they make you tired, they make you drug addict. That's what they do. So it's not something. I could understand if the best medical solution was to give somebody a Red Bull, because it makes sense to me. Red Bull is an antidepressant. It's not good for you. Sugar is an antidepressant. Alcohol is a depressant. Okay. So some of the symptoms, feelings of sadness, guilt, hopelessness, emptiness, pessimism, you can go do all of those. So 1985 I was at university. You've got to find out what causes your depression. So here's the typical story. A woman gets beaten by her husband. Okay, I hope none of you husbands do, because if you women have a problem, I'll beat your husband up. Okay, but in any case, so the woman gets beaten by her husband. What can she do? She's obviously going to get depressed. Any of us, whether you're the husband or the wife, if you get beaten regularly, you're going to be depressed. So what does she do? She goes to the doctor. He gives her antidepressant. Now, how the hell would the antidepressant help the husband not beat the wife? Now, come on, just tell me. Or you're a woman, you were raped. You get depressed. I'm sure you should get depressed if you get raped. And then they give you an antidepressant. No, they should give you a gun to shoot the guy that raped you. Surely, that's logic. Okay? I sound too much like Trump. That's just me. So, I was attacked by somebody when I was 19 years old. I was thrown from a car, and that's what caused my depression. And then I got married. Lots of things happened. I wasn't too keen on killing other people, so I didn't want to go to the army and fight and kill other people, so I refused. But at that time in South Africa, you go to jail for 2 years if you don't go to the army, because you were called rooi gevaar. I don't know if you remember that in South Africa. That means about 2,000 times worse than Jeremy Corbyn. So you as red as him, and you call rooi gevaar, which means black, which means red danger. Okay, so you're like a communist in South Africa at that time. And they waterboarded me, and they locked me up, and they broke into my office, and they told me what I voted in the election, and they followed my mother, and they had problems with my brother. So there are lots of things that can cause depression. You have to find out what causes your depression. That's the most logical thing, first of all. Don't take drugs yet, see? Find out what causes your depression. If it's your husband, and he doesn't want to change, and he won't change, divorce him. Go somewhere else where you don't get beaten. Okay, but I can't understand. It's like you teach your children, when they walk on the pavement, when they're 2 years old, they hold your hand. They see a bus drive over a dog, so they learn, I shouldn't walk in the street, because either the dog died or the dog was hurt. I shouldn't walk in the street. That's how we learn. So what do? You walk, and the kid sees that, so he's learned something. He either has to not walk in the street, or go to where the little green man is, push the button, wait, and walk across the street. But when we deal with mental issues or depression, our best solution is you keep walking across the road, and the bus knocks you down, and the bus knocks you down, and Wednesday you go again, the bus knocks you down, next year you go, the bus knocks you down. And when the knocking down gets too hard, we just take a substance that dulls the brain that tells us we haven't been knocked down. That's much better now. Okay. It's lunacy the way we try and deal with it. So I had these 20 doctors that had lumbar punches on me. They did ECGs, MRIs, tunnel scans, all of those kind of things. I had a psychiatrist cry and say, I'm making feel inferior. I know more about the subject than he does. Well, I've been suffering for 14 years. If you studied anything for 14 years, you should at least have 2 or 3 doctorates in the subject. Don't you agree? Okay. So these are some of the things I took. I don't know if you know these drugs. Cransine, Valium, Ativan, Introl, Tenormin, Lexatin. I was taking sometimes 84 drugs per day. Okay, not per week, per month. I was taking 6 times more drugs than the manufacturers would recommend. Okay, so I'm talking serious. 56 drugs a day, At that time, the specialist in a place, Peter Maritzburg in South Africa, told me, I said, I can't take this anymore. I'm just going to stop taking all the stuff you're giving me. He said to me, I would die if I stopped taking it. At that time, just on a substance called Valium, a 55-year-old man would have to be hospitalized for 9 months to get him off Valium. So here's the story again, just to keep you up with my reasoning and my logic. So you are depressed. You go to the doctor. He gives you Valium. 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years. What are you though? You were a depressant, or a depressed individual, and by the time the doctor's finished with you, what are you? A drug addict. So what do you think is better, being just depressed or being a depressed addict? I'd rather just be depressed than be a depressed drug addict. I don't know about you. Okay? So you go from depression to be a drug addict. And I said to a woman at church, that's what happens. Because she wanted to come and argue with me. So I say, well, don't argue with me. How do you feel though? No, she's not a drug addict. I'm insulting her. I say, okay, prove me wrong. Go home tonight and leave all the medication for a month and come tell me in a month's time you could do that. Then I'll tell you you're not an addict. I never saw her again. And the guy and the daughter wanted to fight with me, don't even come to church anymore. Okay. So, you know what the cause is, and often it's only you that know the cause, because you don't often share. If you're being raped, I don't think you're going to phone all your friends and say, hey Mary, I've just been raped again. Okay, or I was just fired, or somebody just stole, or whatever. So, people suffer in silence. Yes, some of the symptoms, I don't know if lots of people have these, in any case, negative thoughts where you keep saying how bad things are. I didn't have those kind of negative thoughts where I'd like to kill myself or self-harm. It still doesn't make sense to me why you would slash your own wrist, slash the causes. That's just how I am. Okay. I'd rather go and slash the cause than slash myself. Irritability, you want to argue about everything. I don't know, Barbara, do I argue about everything?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Sleeping problems. Sometimes I couldn't sleep, and other times I couldn't stop sleeping. Sometimes I sleep for 2 days, and I just don't want to get out of bed, draw the curtains, and Barbara opens the curtains, and then I close the curtains, and then she opens. Okay, and then she goes to the doctor, and then I go to the doctor. Leg pains, joint pains, back pains, stiff muscles, because what happens, I'll go in the toilet as well, and I urinate, and it'll be yellow, and 2 hours later it'll be orange, and 3 hours later it'll be as clear as lemonade. So there are lots of things happening in your body. And this often is one of the things that you'll hear from a doctor or specialist. He'll say, I'm giving you these things because there's a chemical imbalance in your brain. Okay, I don't know if you've heard that before about depression. There's a chemical imbalance in your brain. That's why I'm giving you these things to rebalance the chemicals in your brain. Now, is there anybody in the room who's been to the doctor and said, doctor, please do a test on me. I'm feeling great today. Anybody like that? Okay, so no. I take it nobody goes to the doctor when they're feeling well. So when they get tested, they normally feel unwell. Okay? So my theory is as follows. By the time you get there, you are depressed. So by the time they check you, there's an imbalance of chemicals in your brain. I accept that. So they're not like normal. So the doctor says they're the cause of you being depressed. I'm saying no. Something happened to you. You got depressed, and that depression changed the composition of the chemicals in your brain. Surely that should. Is it logical? Do you agree with me? I might just be the only idiot in here. Okay. But if I tell you my IQ, you'll agree with me. Okay. Acute thirst. Lactic acid, like you get pain on your muscles if you're running a race, the same. You'll get up some mornings and you'll be so full of pain and that burning sensation and things like that. Lack of energy, you know about that. You just don't want to get up, you don't want to see people. It's just too much effort to breathe some days. So stay in bed all day. The light, very photosensitive I got. And even today, I had depression for 14 years, so about 1985 to about 2000. Okay? And even today, if I do that, I see yellow, and if I do that, I see green. So my eyesight changed. Okay? And I can distinguish that there's a difference in the way the eyes see things as pain in the eyes, redness. Sometimes I'd sit, in Pietermaritzburg, it's a cold place, man. It was very, very cold in winter time. I just have a jogger on, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll go outside, I'll take a bucket of water, put it over, my whole body's burning up. But it's freezing outside. There's like ice outside, but you're just burning up. Tingling sensation all over the body. If I take like this though, it's painful. Okay. Problems hearing properly. Now we lived in Pietermaritzburg about 800 meters from a bus station. And I play with Sophia, our youngest daughter. At that time she was about 2.5 years old. And I play with her in the swimming pool. And I'll throw her up like this, and the mouth is open, and I can see her, but I don't hear her screaming. But you know where McDonald's is? I can hear the people talking in McDonald's. I can tell you the conversation, I can repeat their conversation, I can hear them. But I can't hear her or people right here, close to me. And it's not like they're mumbling, like we are speaking, I can hear these people. So these aren't just voices in my head, these were real people talking. Okay. Dizziness, feeling faint. And what happens, it kind of builds up on itself. So you say to yourself, I feel like I'm going to faint now. It's like, did you play that game at school? We all tell Yetzi, she's not looking well today. So everyone, what are you, Yetzi, how are you? You look a bit pale today. Are you okay? So like the 10th person was, you feel a bit dizzy, that I'm going home now. Miss, I don't feel well. So it's the same, you start monitoring yourself. I take my pulse dial here, the heart, and it'll race more and more. And then you get more stressed about this stuff. And you lose your confidence. You can't walk in the street. I'd walk across, like, I get agoraphobia. I walk across the square in Queenstown, in Pietermaritzburg, I walk like 20, 30 meters. I'll go sit on a bench like this, and all the people go by, and I'll run back to my car, go and sit in the car. I can't get out. Okay, can't go to work. Anxiety, panic attacks, things like that. I just want to show you some things that I discovered then. Apart from having to discover what causes it, there are lots of other things that are not good for you. So, an apple again, just on food. I'll show you 2 food samples and then give you some ideas, and I'll show you some food supplements and I'll give you some ideas about that. So, most people think an apple is healthy to eat. Okay, apple a day keeps the doctor away. Not these ones, my friends. These are the ones from Kent. Okay, they dip them in candle wax, they put diesel and petrol on them. You eat them. So you eat about 3 white candles a month if you have apples. Okay, so they're not very good for you unless you peel them. Okay. I discovered if I eat red meat, it's no good for me. And even today I would avoid eating red meat because I'll be sluggish and struggling for about 4 days if I have a steak. So I don't have a steak anymore. Coffee. I'm famous for just drinking Frisco, which is chicory root, it's not coffee, because coffee makes me depressed. The same, you'll have to find out the things that are bad for you. Easy ones, which you shouldn't do in any case, whether you're depressed or not, is not smoke, not have alcohol or excessive alcohol. You shouldn't have too much fat, too much salt, too much sugar. We all know these things. Okay, not too much caffeine, because they're not really good for us. But if you're prone to depression, they're really bad for you. Okay, so I'll do one more, show you the quick little broccoli one. Because lots of people say, oh, I eat healthy. I'm doing all the right things, but I'm either still sick or I get depressed and what have you. Because there's so many poisons and things in the food that we eat these days. Let me take a little knife and see if it works. Okay, so here's a quick one of broccoli. So, I'll just show you. So there's a broccoli, and you'll see if you try and clean it or wash it, the water just runs off. So on here, there are lots of pesticides. They reckon about 50 pesticides on this broccoli. And now you say, oh, I'm not feeling well, so my wife's going to make me a nice little broccoli soup and everything, but you're going to get all of these poisons in your food, which is not good for you. So what I'll do, there's nothing with which to clean it, by the way, Barbara. Okay. Can you just get the LDC for me? Okay? So now you think, oh, I'm going to do myself a favor. I'm going to eat more fruit and vegetables, because we've been taught that if you eat fruit and vegetables, they're good for you. And why I'm showing this one, you'll see later on in the slides, for depression, broccoli is actually one of the best things you can have. Okay, this is just a vegetable wash or a cleaner, so which is made from coconut oil. So I'm just going to clean some of the pesticide off here. Really, you should put it in your kitchen sink for about 10-15 minutes and get rid of the poisons. I haven't even taken very long. You can see the difference in color of those two now. Okay. So that one now, the poison's washed off. And if you put the water on there, on that one again, there's the umbrella I showed you at the beginning. Look at this one. The water runs through that. There the pesticide is still glued on. Okay. Thanks, Frank. So, one more thing, and this takes a bit of a while. Now, another thing they say, oh, you should have omega-3. It's good for depression. Omega-3, it's a fish oil. Well, it should be a fish oil. So, if you go to the shop and you buy some of these fish oils, I'm going to stick 3 here quickly. Here's one from a famous pharmacy in our country. Okay, I'm not going to name the pharmacy, but I'll take one of these. There's just a pin. I take one of the capsules from there, put it in this little polystyrene container. So remember, this is something, I'm now going to take this because my doctor or the health store tells me this is good for depression. I'm going to put it in there. Here's another one from a famous, I won't say the name again, famous health store. You'll know the name of this one. Okay. So I'm going to put it in here. And lots of people in this country buy from this one especially. And remember, there are books and articles and research done saying omega-3 is excellent for that. Here's another one that says what it's made of. Won't say the name either again, which it should be made from, because omega-3 should be a fish oil. And the same, I'm going to prick this one and stick it in there. And as I talk, we'll give it a bit of time to do its work. Okay. So, these are things we normally eat. These are things we supplement with that is supposedly good for us. Okay. So there I've got vitamin B. Vitamin B is good for the nervous system. So it's one of the things, if you're depressed or if you just want better absorption of your food, nutrition from your food, you should have vitamin B in your diet. Okay. You can read all of these things. I'm not going to read all of them. Vitamin B is one of the things you should need, about 1 to 2 tablets a day. And a doctor in Queenstown, that's a friend of mine, who didn't want to kill me, wanted to give me good advice, said, you are big compared to other people. You need a lot more vitamin B in your diet than a normal person would need in any case. So I would take these 1 to 3, sometimes I take 5 a day if I'm feeling that I really need to be better than I am. There's the omega-3. All 8 omegas that you need. Again, not because it says omega-3, you shouldn't only have 3 factors of vitamins or fish oils in there. You should have 8 types of fish oils in there. And this happens especially for the inflammation. So for me, it was for the pain. Okay, not for the blood thinning. I didn't have blood pressure problems, heart problems, things like that. I needed it specifically for pain. Okay, although it's good. I don't know if you know, if you call somebody a fathead, it's actually a compliment because our brain is just made up of fat anymore. Okay, so all us fatheads should have good oils, good for the heart, it's a side effect. So one of the things they take me for this test in Bloemfontein, I had to go and run on this machine, and they had like this whole thing on me. They were there sucking blood and things, and I was running, and this guy said to me, when your heart rate hits 185, you're either going to die or you will know exactly what's wrong with you at 185. So at 185 I was going 185, 186, 200. Guys, okay, no, stop. He said, I'll give you a letter, you're not going to die of your heart. So it's not my heart. Okay. Should be part of your diet. We don't get enough fish anymore. We should get at least 3 capsules of fish oil or the equivalent, or at least eat good fish 3 times a week. Full motion again, those were for joints, things for joint pains. Mine was a lot of pain. Okay, now you think of this, they talk about psychosomatic. If you talk to one of these head doctors, the shrinky people, okay, and I had some of those, and like I told you, the one cried and said I made him feel inferior because I can read and write. I don't know, can you read and write? If you can read and write, you can do a lot of things. You can even get through an airport, Donnie, if you can read and write. Okay, so you know, so the guy keeps telling me, no, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. But I'd also always question something. You know, I can never say, like the one woman doctor said to Barbara, take this. So Barbara said, what is it? So she says, a beta blocker. So Barbara said, well, a friend of mine's a medical doctor, and her husband's a specialist. And she said, I shouldn't be taking beta blockers. Can you tell me what's in this? So this woman says to Barbara, well, I'm not here to give you a chemistry lesson. Well, this is now the people that should be working with you. And often it is, let me not come across that I'm knocking medical people. It's they don't know. I mean, nobody's told them. It's like you learn something. It's a mechanical type thing. It's like you learn from a book that this guy says that, this must be wrong with him, and these are the 3 things you give them. You know, it's like the answer to the question. If the question is 4, you give him 4. It's not like we can say there are more spaces in there than in just a single-digit answer. Okay, and especially if we accept that not all people are the same, then to my mind the answer can't always be the same for everybody either. The system is always nice because it caters for a majority. But a system does not cater for an exception. Okay, so I think we're so unique that we're all born as exceptions. Okay, the full motion, you can go read up all these things for pain. Okay, so this is what I did. They give me 6 times this drug that I'm taking now. They tell me I'm going to die. I say I'm going to stop. Let's see. And they tell me I've got to die or go to hospital. Now my wife has a baby. That's 2 years old, not even 2 years, 1.5 years old. She's pregnant with a second one. She comes to fetch me after I've been on a train where they're shooting at me and throwing things at me, petrol bombs. Okay, and I've got to go back to my wife and my 2 kids, and they want to put me in the jail because I'm in the army. And it's just not making sense what's happening around me. Okay, so the monsters don't sleep under your bed, they sleep in your head. Okay, what do we have? Calcium, magnesium. That's something that helps you sleep. And a lot of it, if you have pain and you can feel on your skin if something hurts, then you also know, because every nerve of yours is in a sheath, like the sheath for a sword. Okay? That thing you put your sword in is around every nerve in your body. And if you can do this and you feel pain, it means there's like an electric charge built up in that sheath. And the calcium and the magnesium desensitizes or takes the electric charge off it. Okay, so calcium is very important, and again, not dolomite. Dolomite's a rock. If you go to the cliffs of Dover, that's dolomite. Now nowhere, I believe in the Bible, nowhere in the Bible does it say thou shalt eat rocks. I don't know if you've read or seen that. Even if you grind it up, you're not supposed to eat that thing. If you eat calcium, it's got to come from like a food content, and good ones are eggs or poultry, those kind of things would give you the calcium that you need. Okay, and again, even here my mother has osteoporosis, so again I might have some kind of gene or predisposition to these kind of things. Okay, so a lot of it, go and read that. I must at least tell you the one joke. Seeing that we're talking, there's got to be one joke in there. Okay. Guy goes to the doctor, he's 80 years old. And the doctor says, well, you're a new patient here. I'll just take your family history. So he goes writing down, takes his blood pressure, does the wee-wee tests and all of those things, and he says to the guy, so what did your dad die from? So the guy says, who said my dad's dead? Oh. So he said, so where's your dad? He says, where do you expect a father to be when his son goes to the doctor? He's in the waiting room, he brought me here in his car. He says, how old is your dad? 101. So he says, seeing that your dad's here, I'll just phone the receptionist and say, cancel my next 2 appointments, bring your dad in. Same thing. Seeing that you're here, we is fine. Family history, what did your dad die from? who said, my dad's dead. Is your dad still alive? Yes. How old is your dad? 132. So where's your dad? Is he also in the reception? No, he's at a wedding. Who goes to a wedding at 132? The groom goes to his own wedding. They said, who would want to get married at 132? Who said he wanted to get married? Okay. So there we go. You need a bit of calcium, magnesium. Okay, just to keep you going. 3NN. You can go and find out what 3NN is. It's something that used to be in our grain. So I don't know if you can remember, we used to have bread that went moldy. Can you remember the good old days when the bread used to go black if you left it? You bought it on the Friday, you went away for the weekend, and you came back on Monday or Sunday evening, you had black stuff on it. Now today, Barbara and I go, we leave those two doors open, we go to South Africa for 2 months, we came back, the bread was still fresh, you can toast it. Okay. Doesn't have mold on. So that means if it doesn't have mold on, it doesn't have oil in it. And part of the oil it should have is a thing called 3NN. It means 3 in 1 or 3 essential oils. And they've taken it out of our diet and out of our food so that the shelf life of food is longer. So we used to pick an apple and it was rotten in 3 or 4 days. Today you have an apple that's 6 weeks, 6 months, 2 years old because it's just been dipped in diesel so the moisture can't go up, so it lasts longer. Okay, this is one of those intelligent things we do again. So I had to change a lot of the way that I was eating. Okay? It didn't change that I was attacked and whatever happened to me. It at least made my body better to fight back. Okay. So 3NN, whole grains, energy. You need energy. Your body needs energy again. So yeah, counseling and guidance. You need somebody at least to talk to. And they normally say a counselor is somebody you talk to just before you start talking to yourself. Okay? But it's probably not true. You actually talk to yourself all day and then you talk to a counselor or somebody that can help you. And often, it's not that this person knows anything. Okay? I think we often go there thinking that that person will give me the answer. No, you just need that person to listen and help you talk so that you give yourself the answer. Because you know the answer. You're going to lie to yourself. You're going to lie to everybody else. But you know you are being beaten at home. You get the point. Just the analogy of the thing. Not that I'm into saying beat women, but or that you're being raped or mugged or held against your will, whatever your situation is, though, that doesn't change. But by saying things, you know, and hearing it yourself, it makes a big difference. Because you often don't. You would share something with that person that you would share with nobody that you know. You know, because you just know that person is not going to tell everybody. Okay. So it's not a pity party. You don't go there to just cry and, you know, it's my party, I'll cry if I want to. It's so that you make a bit of sense of what's happening with you. And I found the more that I could talk to, I found an old guy in Queenstown and then eventually he moved to Knysna, and I even saw him when I was living in PE, just go in there. He wasn't even a doctor anymore practicing, then I just chat to him, meet him at the coffee shop. You know, it's not like he was my friend, but he was the guy that would listen. Okay, so often you have to listen, and it can't be your husband or your wife. It can't be. It can't be your brother-in-law. It can't be your minister. It's got to be someone else. You know, the more distant the person, actually, the better it is. And a lot of it is learned behavior, because something happens to you, and you react in a certain way, and it happens again, and you know, so you learn your response to what's happening to you. And first response is, this can't be happening to me. The next one is, it's like, it's not my fault. I'm not guilty. No. I can't handle this. It's the government's fault. It's got to be the government. It's got to be Theresa May. It can only be this woman. This tower burns down. It's not my fridge. It's got to be this woman. That's just how people are. You know, she dreams every night that she's going to burn things down. So when you suffer from depression, when people look at you, they think, oh, this person's feeling sad. But there are lots of different things you're feeling. Nothing, or sadness, or self-loathing, or anxiety, guilt, hopelessness, isolation. Some people want to kill themselves though. Okay? So when this happens to you, I thought The only thing I knew, I was from a little town, and I went to these specialists. These people were very intelligent and educated. They should know. I mean, this is now their field. They have to help me. So we do this plan. But if you think of it, there's something wrong, and you have to make this like life-changing decisions, and you really have to change. But they give you a drug that you're all spaced out when you have to be taking these decisions, and that can't be an answer either. It's like reasoning with a drunk. And tomorrow he's going to tell you, I had a hell of a party last night, and what do you remember of the party? I can't remember anything, but it was a hell of a party. Okay, so how do you make a decision that would affect the rest of your life when you are drugged and spaced out? It can't be the plan. It just can't be the plan. I tried the plan, it didn't work for me. Okay. And it took me 14 years to discover that I can't keep going like this. And they say, well, there are lots of ways, but if you go and do your studies, you shouldn't be taking antidepressants for more than 6 to 8 weeks. Do you know that? They take them for years.
Yeah.
Okay. They've even now developed antidepressants for babies. Now come on. Hell, there's no way you can look at a baby and say the baby's depressed. It's like Barbara drove over our dog's head in South Africa. He didn't die, but we went to the surgery with a vet, and the vet looked at my 2 kids were there, and we looked at this dog that had an operation now, and the arm was like this, and something, a patch over the head and an eye and what have you. And then the doctor says, oh, your baby's depressed. I wanted to say, idiot, if I drive over your head, you'll be depressed as well. But every time he said baby, it was 1,000 rand. And of course, now I can't take the dog home, can I? My 2 little kids standing there, this terrible person's going to take this dog home, this poor baby. After the 3rd day and 7,500 rand later, I said, baby's going home. Baby's not staying here. Do you know what we did? We gave baby omega-3. We gave baby multi-mineral, and we gave baby what? Carotenoids. And 6 months later, baby wasn't depressed, he wasn't blind in his eye, and there was nothing wrong with his leg. He could walk again, and he wasn't blind. So, change the plan if it's not working. I just know medication's not a fix for a mental problem. And in this country, something terrible has happened. They couldn't match and fix their budget for the NHS, so they basically just scrapped all mental treatment. There is no mental treatment in this country. They've shown a little girl here that's 14 years old. She's waiting for 2.5 years for somebody to phone her back. She wants to commit suicide. Now, that can't be right. You can't spend £30 billion somewhere else for the Indians sending rockets to Mars, but you can't look after one of your own 14-year-old kids. It's just not right. Now, it might just be me. Okay, so broccoli. Raw broccoli is good. Have some of that, then you won't be so excited. These kind of fried things, a nice picture of a fried chicken, but that fried skin is terrible for you if you're depressed. Okay, these things, the rawer the better, the cleaner the better. Okay. Bananas, I like a banana. They say there's potassium and things like that in there. If you have bread, you should. We'd buy bread and keep them and see which ones go moldy, and then we eat those ones. But today I hardly eat any bread anymore. I love corn on the cob. I don't eat corn on the cob anymore. Okay, because it's systemically poisoned. The seed is poisonous. So if I don't know how many seeds on a corn in the cob, must be 200 or more of those little things. They're poisonous. Okay, you're going to eat them, whether you're depressed or not. You're going to get depressed sometime. Keep eating your corn on the cob. Okay. Whole wheat bread should be good for your wheat. If it's not the oil, that 3-in-1 oil has not been pressed out of it, wheat is good for you. Our basic stable diet, yonks of centuries ago, was wheat. I mean, you read in the Bible, it was bread. You look at any civilization, it was some kind of flour or something they were grinding up. It was wheat-based. Bananas, we've had that. Okay. So again, what I found out, and I mean, they have all of these. I went for the acupuncture and all of those kind of things. Then I discovered, I don't know, has anybody been to a physiotherapist before? Okay. And you've got a hell of a pain in your back and right here, and a woman sticks her finger there, and you want to die, and she says, is it there? Yes, that's 2 inches left. Ah, But have you found you can do this? If that's where the pain is, and you push there, it's hell of a painful, and your body tenses up like this, and eventually your body's getting enough, just let's go. And then the pain gets better. And it's the same, you can find, there are places, there you're very sensitive, so I could do that here, and the same you press like this. The others are here, there. They're about 4 on the back of your head like that, there. Above your eyes, here, where the sinuses and things are. So if you have pain in those areas, you could do that. So I had to learn where these, that's my daughter, isn't she beautiful? Eldest one. There are things where you can push and give yourself relief without taking drugs. My point is, I don't know if I've said it before, I don't think drugs is the answer. You didn't hear that. The other thing is I used to teach myself, I don't do it much anymore, because I've learned to cope differently. And it's not, I don't think that you get rid of the depression. You're always fighting the black dog. Churchill fought the dog, so you also have a dog. He would have a smoke and a drink, which I don't think it was probably better than an antidepressant, but he had a smoke and a drink. I would lie on the floor like that, slightly open, like the palms up, and you just lie there, just the wall for 5 or 10 minutes, and then you just cramp up everything in your body. Pull your back, blocked up, everything, funny face, and the same you hold it till you can't, and then you relax. And then you start with your feet, and then the calf muscles, and the buttocks, and the stomach, and everything. If you do that, within half an hour, you'd probably fall asleep. Whereas before, with all the drugs, I couldn't fall asleep. So you have to teach yourself things that are helpful. Yeah, I told you before that people that tend to get depressed, they've discovered, or they've done research, you have a bigger area of your brain, which is where the emotions are concerned. Okay, so part of that fat you have up there, though, there's more fat that is sensitive. So often they're sensitive people. So here are my final notes. Nobody can fix it for you. That's the bad news, and the good news is you are responsible, it's your life, and you have to fix it. The doctor cannot fix it for you. Your pastor cannot fix it for you. So you have to find out. Take charge, accept it's your responsibility. Don't blame the government. It's not the government's fault. Don't blame the NHS. They also just like to give us the best service. It's not their fault. It's not the doctor's fault. He doesn't know what to tell you. I don't know, has anybody ever been phoned by a doctor and say, Mr. Jones, I'm just looking through your records. You were here 3 weeks ago. I just want to find out, how are you doing? Have you ever had that? Eh? That's a good doctor. Don't tell me his name. It's not the one that's just been in trouble. He's a good doctor. No, he's a good doctor if you've been bleeding. I like him. So it's very seldom. A lot of these things are, it's like a mechanical system thing. Let's just get rid of people. That's right. And it's because, part of it is because of the pressure on the system. A lot of it is pressure on the system that they can't handle it. There are too many people. They reckon every 28 days, the equivalent of the whole of the UK population visits a doctor or a hospital, which is a lot. So I don't know, any of you go to the doctor more than 12 times a year? Right? There we go. She's one of them. But the rest of you that don't, there are people that go more than 12 times to get the average there. Okay. I must tell you, seeing that you put your hand. About 2 years ago, I took the car in for a MOT and a service here in, we normally take it to Gravesend, but I took it in Crayford. So I go in, the guy said, how long would it take? About an hour and a half. Oh no, if I now go on the train, come back home, again he's going to tell me I'll go back there, I might as well just stay in the area. So I walk around there and there's a Sainsbury's. So I go in the Sainsbury's, upstairs, have a coffee, sit around there, and these two old women come in. One with a Zimmer frame, another one with a trolley. Ooh. And they sit down and they talk about how bad life is and the next one and how sick she is. And then 5 minutes later, Mavis comes in with her trolley. Mavis, they say, we haven't seen you for a long time. Where have you been? Mavis said, oh, I was so sick, dear. I was so sick. About 3 years ago, I just decided I'm stopping all medication. I'm not going back to the doctor. She said, I've never been that healthy. Okay, so become healthy about the changes you need to make. I believe everybody can change, but I do firmly believe that very few people would change anything. Okay, because they get in a habit, that's just the way we are, that's the way we do things. If you've ever been in a class at school and at university, even in church, most people always sit in the same seat, they go to the same place. It's just the way we're wired. We're creatures of habit. Okay, sometimes you have to be selfish and say, no, can you help me? No. And you'll see faces. But you've never said no in 35 years. How can you say no now? Okay, and that's just how people, they'll abuse you, you know. I thought I'll just mention it to you. People will abuse you to the end of your days. The story about the bus hurts when it runs you over. Find your own way to cross. The food makes a big difference. I'll show you quickly. Here's the one from our famous pharmacy. Okay, it's poisonous. It's got petroleum in. It's got diesel in. You shouldn't be having it. It's no good for you. It causes leaky gut syndrome. It gives you, what's that other thing they have with IBS? Here's the one from the health food store. You shouldn't be taking it. It's made by Chinese, in a hell of a hurry, in a bad factory, from diesel. Okay. Here's the one, made from food. Smell the fish. Okay. Your doctor wouldn't even know the difference, even if you asked him. Sorry, doctor, just having a laugh. So find out these things. It's your life, it's your body, it's the things you have to do. Okay. Food makes a difference. Upbeat music. I know in South Africa they have all of these people that want to slit your wrists with the kind of songs they have, and they have them here as well. So we're driving, and then I'll set it up, another station, through the CD. There'll probably only be 3 things worth listening to. You need a bit of oomph. You can't have go home. It's called menorah in South Africa. It has a blade. I call it menorah blade music. You go home, you want to slit your wrists because it's that bad. You also have friends like that. You have family like that. We all have those family members. We should get rid of them or run away. Okay? We should run away from them. We can't choose our family, but some of our family members are bad for us. Okay? The TV, the newspaper, some programs are bad for us. You can't watch sex and killing and things on the TV all the time and bad football and then think you're not going to get depressed. You are going to get depressed, okay? Cry if you want to, or even if you don't want to. Okay. Big men start with little steps, and you can start and do it yourself as well. I say flee from drugs. If we were supposed to take drugs when we were born, we would have had a little pouch, either with some drugs in or with some scripts in. That's just how I believe. I don't think we should be having these things. They aren't good for us. If you have to take them in, your father dies, your kid gets driven over in an accident, then I can still accept that if for 6 or 8 weeks you just need a bit of assistance just to cope with life. That I can understand. Okay. I believe that Jesus heals. That's what I believe, though. If you believe in anything else, it's your freedom to believe what you want to believe. Okay. I just found that it was helpful to me when I needed help. And, you know, do for yourself, though. Don't let anybody else talk you into anything else either, though. Okay. They're talking about these radicalizations and all. You can be radical for anything. Okay. You can be radical just watching sport. Supplement with real food and stuff, not synthetic things. So people read, they say, study has been done and has shown that vitamin C is good for flu. Yes, they did a study with real vitamin C that comes from an orange. Don't go buy vitamin C somewhere that comes from a factory. The research result and conclusion must be the same thing that they use that you would use. Okay, if you get the idea. You know, the sugar and the salt and the fat. Clean water. Water is terrible. We live on an island here. They reckon by the time you drink the water out of the tap, it's been through 7 other bodies before you drink it. Okay, so clean up your water. And the council apparently, or Thames Water, sends up to 500 chemicals through your tap along with the water. Okay, that's why men get boobs in this country. It's called Thames tits or something. I don't know what they want to call them. They send it to you in the tap. tap breasts. Okay. So fresh fruit and vegetables and fiber are good for you. The fiber cleans out. You've got to keep, if you keep eating things that have junk in, you must at least have a filtration system that on the other side keeps getting rid of it as well, if you'll agree with that. Okay. So believe in yourself, you can do it. If I could, you could. Okay. That's about as much as I want to say. I've got a book if you want a book. I think Barbara would sell them, they're $5. I see they sell them in Waterstones for £27. They rip me off and they sell them for I think $21 or whatever on the Amazon. Okay. So, and if you want to ask me questions later, I think, because lots of people aren't just comfortable in the middle to say, I was mugged yesterday. Okay. So it was great chatting to you. I hope you enjoyed it and that you learned something. Thank you.